Blake Williams and Susan Giovanello, who just passed away this week in the line of duty. Volunteer EMT who's on duty after this not a firehouse, but her Senator Station, she passed away. So please keep her in your prayers this holiday season, as well as all the other first responders. Stand for the pledge of I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So we have a lot of excuses today, and some for personal reasons, some for sick leave, some for holiday. They're listed on the attendance list. Just to remind everyone that, so it's 218. Governor's order, executive order 211 expired, and so all public meetings have to be held in person. Webcasting is for viewing only, and attendance can't be taken from those viewing, only from those in person. Because quorum is only counted by the people here. So thank you. And be sure you signed in, please. I need a motion to approve the February 1st minutes and attendance sent out. That's the first. Any opposed? Thank you. I'm leaving a space in the minutes today to recognize the death of EMT Susan Giovanello. The memorial flyer is going to be put in the minutes. For correspondence, incoming correspondence, like the state inspector must have been bored. We have a lot to read. I apologize. The first one is somebody who is from our region, Stephen Karayawa, suspended for 1 year, to become effective 6/13/23. Shall not renew certification upon expiration, assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of New York Code Part 800.16A 1, 2, and 3 from Wonko. The next one is Brian Reynolds, EMT 262638, Rochester, surrendered effective 3/13/23, assessed a civil penalty of $2,000. The penalty is stayed based on the surrender of certification for violation of 10 New York Code Regulations Part 800.16A 8. Thank you. The next one is Anthony Canestro of Castleton, New York, EMT 469579, revoked effective 3/13/23 for violations of Part 800.38K. This one is Patterson Fire Department number 1, Incorporated, Patterson, New York. Suspended for 1 year, effective 3/13/23. The suspension is stayed. Placed on probation for 3 years, effective 3/13/23. Assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Public Health Law 3012 1B, D, and F. Public Health Law 3005 Part 4, 3006, and 800.21 D, F, G, K, L, and N. 800.23A and E, and 800.24. They didn't miss the beat, did they? At all. EMT Gabrielle Oliveras, EMT 447126, Staten Island, surrendered effective 3/20/23 for an assessed civil penalty of $500 for violations of Part 800.3 AP 1. Last one, EMT Robert Marshall, number 422341, Jamaica, surrendered effective 3/8/23 for violation of Part 800.16A10. Wow. I get them all?
I think so.
These order sensitive love letters. Thank you. So we got a bunch of agency requests for BLSI form that can be addressed by Dr. Newberg. We have a bunch of agency medical director changes, requests for change. Which will be addressed under the credentials and then addressed under new business. Ambulance, Glenwood Fire Company, NYU EMS, Hicksville Fire Department, and Glencoe EMS, Glencoe Fire. Received a letter from St. Joseph's Hospital. They're opening a cardiac cath lab. They're now a STEMI center. Received a letter from Nassau County Medical Center announcing their certification as a state certified primary stroke center. See, that's look at it. Nassau Firecom sent out an information sheet regarding the Tyler CAD information for Tyler CAD. For those of you who aren't familiar, that's something that could be brought up under the Remsco business. Would have been brought up under the coordinator's report. Yeah. He's at the line of duty. And just one last thing under communications that were incoming. It was brought to my attention that there's been discussion if quote eBridge will be taking over medical control quote. I just want to state that this line of questioning has now become a flaming inquiry of misinformation leading up to the county elected leadership. And I'm not really certain who's leading this or why that group or persons would separate misinformation. But I just want to refer and remind everybody here and online to the communications policy. It specifically states all medical control cases will be communicated with online medical control. They'll be the sole provider of 911 medical control unless your agency has another medical control. And all eBridge communications will be sent to the to Nassau County Medical Control, which means every ambulance going to any hospital in Nassau County, private, commercial, volunteer, whatever it is, they're going to see every ambulance light up when they start going en route to the hospital. They'll see everything. They'll have the most situational awareness out of anybody in the region of ambulances responding both visually on the map and also having received text messages if the unit did not request medical guidance. So that's important because it's going to help us improve our communication between providers, both out of the hospital and in the hospital, help medical control improve their situational awareness. If anybody knows of someone who is confused and needs clarification, or if they need clarification, I'm very happy to sit down with them personally and try and explain everything again. I have no problem doing that. With regards to outgoing emails, we've sent out an updated letter to the pre-hospital providers regarding clarification of masking requirements. It's basically saying, if you're sick, wear a mask. If the hospital requires you to wear a mask, wear a mask. If your patient is immune compromised, wear a mask. It replaces the previous one that was sent out in January. If there's any questions, please let me know. We've of the agencies that have requested changes in medical direction, we've sent out some inquiries asking for specific information so that we could again bring it up at this meeting. So moving on to reports, the chairman's reports. At the state level, there was a lot of discussion on moving up the sunsetting date for the AEMTCC. Right now, it's just scuttlebutt. So if you guys have heard people talking about it, it's just people talking. It's not the legislation, it's the legislation, or the rule is the rule. But their concern was that the curricula is outdated and the skill set is not consistent with national scope. And they don't want a two-tiered provider of care, meaning somebody using old skills and care, and somebody using modern curricula with the paramedic. So that may come up again at CMAC. I just want everybody here because I know that's a significant portion of our ALS providers. And I want you guys to know that it's not something that is going to be supported, but it's just something that is a topic of discussion. eBridge is moving along very quickly. Please position your agency for its use. Make sure that you communicate with Don to get your agency providers credentialed and listed on our board. And also to let us know what vehicles, your vehicle identification numbers you're using. We're going to start with just using your vehicle IDs, not doling out individual logins. And it's just as we're crawling before we're walking and before we're running, we figured it was simplest to do that. There are some agencies that volunteered to be test agencies, so thank you. The nasty mandate I talked about. I just want to also bring up another tragedy in our region was the EAS RCA EMS station that basically that's the repair station where they turned out of as well. I'm grateful that there was no serious injuries, just stuff can be replaced. But we have to consider that this is a private EMS agency. We may not think in a 911 setting how a private EMS agency can affect us, but it can. And the reason why is they're key providers in taking the patients out of the hospital, making the beds available so that we can get the patients out of the ER up to the beds, so we can get the patients off our stretchers and the ER beds. Right? So we want to keep that flow moving. This may impact that. So please be mindful of that. Yeah.
Clarifying what happened.
So they're basically their base, I think it's senseless. Yeah, part of the ground. Well, I don't know, numerous agencies with their repair center. But the state is involved, making sure that there's no impact on the region. But the other thing that these private providers did for us was they also offloaded some of the 911 stuff by taking the non-emergency nursing home transports off of our plate, allowing the 911 providers to do 911 work while they took the non-emergency transports to dialysis, to the hospital for just checkups for wound care. Okay, so we may see patients, our call volumes might be going up out of these nursing homes if this ambulance service can pick up. Hopefully they can. Let's see. I guess I mentioned the fallen member, and then lastly, just for those of you who are celebrating any sort of religious holiday this week, and for those of you who are here, thank you. I want to wish you all a blessed holiday season, and thank you all for your leadership and participation on this committee. Right now, there are people getting ready for holiday, and they can't be with us. There are people that are looking forward to holiday this weekend. There are people who are celebrating at this very moment by fasting. And I'm grateful to all of you and to your family members for sharing you with us. So thank you. With regards to committee reports, CMAC, the next CMAC meeting is in May, so there's no report. Dr. Zazo from QAQI.
Nothing urgent coming in, and we just what we talked about, maybe potentially expanding membership on them. So that's something that we'll bring up and might be interested in.
That's fantastic. So I think that the deeper we go, the wider we are, the better it is. So please, if you have time, just reach out to Dr. Zazo. We need to expand our depth and breadth, develop leadership. And the membership doesn't necessarily have to be a voting member. It could be any member of the REMAC. Just know that it's confidential, and you're going to be dealing with things that can't be discussed anyplace else. So it's all for the good of the region and the patients cared for. Moving on to the Dr. Newberg report via BLS, IGEL, and RSI.
Okay, so for RSI, we'll be bringing up the policies and procedures under that section of the meeting, so I'll just refer to that when we do that. But policies and procedures have been completed. So once that's approved today, basically we can start enrolling the agencies. As of right now, the only agency that has sent an application so far is New Hyde Park Fire Department. I have talked to a number of other agencies that are interested in also participating. After this meeting, the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be reaching out to a couple different agencies and seeing who's interested in signing on. So basically, idea at this point would be process the applications for our committee pending the June REMAC meeting, and hopefully in June it will vote on those agencies, approve them for RSI, and then we'll have RSI in Nassau County starting in June. It's kind of start off small, but that's fine. That's the way we wanted it. That's the way we designed it. So that's not I'm not concerned about that. I think that's actually better. And then obviously any agency or anyone who wants to talk, please reach out to me because we want to make sure we have a good start. So anyone that's interested, have those agencies reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. There were a few agencies that want me to meet with their leadership about it, and anything like that. If you tell me, I'm happy to come out and get it to the finish line. So goal is RSI starting in January. Start June. That's great. The applications will be online. We're getting them approved today, actually. So just making sure. So we have the applications, and then if you just email me, I can send it out to you. We'll have them, and Don will have them. Don has them, and Chuck will have them. So we'll all have them. Any questions about RSI?
I just want that, if you would, once again, just let us know once we get the policy and procedures set, and just what the agency signed up, that we work in conjunction with the training committee, Ed Wolverine, and we're willing to once again help with that, and thank you for doing everything.
Yeah, and we need
the way you want it.
Yeah, we need to devote every class in that, and actually, the Fire Police Academy has been super helpful with IGEL. We've been coordinating with them, so yeah, anything that we can do to coordinate that,
Yeah.
obviously, John, we'll reach out to you. Yeah, been working out very nicely, so I assume that that IGEL kind of was the easier one to get off the ground right away, so that's been working out really nicely, so. So to transition into that, BLS IGEL, we have 10 agencies in Nassau County that are currently approved. Oyster Bay Fire Department, Wanto Levittown Ambulance, Town of Hempstead EMS, South Hempstead Fire Department, Rockville Center Fire Department, and Hassett Lakeville Fire Department, Freeport Fire Department, Belmore Merrick EMS, Belmore Fire Department, and Baldwin Fire Department. So those 10 agencies were approved by Hudson Valley. We're waiting for the final state approval to come down. So Hudson Valley signed off that we can start training those agencies. So since the last REMAC meeting, we put out all the training materials. Then Hassett Lakeville did their own training internally. All of the other agencies at this point have been training with us, coordinating with us through the county, through the Fire Police Academy and Don. So we basically been having joint trainings at the Fire Police Academy. They've been coming out. They've been bringing, they did an online test they have to take, so they bring the online test. It's in with that learning thing on the state. Vital Signs. Thank you. They go on the Vital Signs Academy and get the written test, and when they bring that certificate to us, then we do the in-person education and then sign off on their skills. So that's been working out very nicely, and we're going to continue doing that. There'll be three more agencies I would like to get approved today that we can do whatever point you want to do that, Dave. West Hempstead Fire Department, Valley Stream Fire Department, both have given applications, and Merrick Fire Department has to give me an application, but has expressed interest that they will. So I'd like to approve the two that sent applications, and then approve Merrick provisionally as long as I get a completed application from them. So whatever we have to vote on that. I assume that we'll be live using them sometime in May. We have the state approval to come back. I'll coordinate that with Hudson Valley. We're aiming for probably a May 1st deadline to be live using them, because then we'll have a majority of the people trained. That's I'm just waiting to hear back from the state to verify that that's our goal live date. Then obviously we'll coordinate with you, John, because we'll have to QA all of those. And every one of the uses of the IGEL will be QA by us. And then we'll also obviously send that to Hudson Valley, because they're the ones working with it. The trainings have been going well. The EMT has been very receptive. We haven't seen any issues. Everyone seems pretty comfortable with it. So I think that's a good thing that we jumped in on. So.
Dr. Dubert. The protocol, Dr. Ryan is excused. He's been added to the state collaborative email group, so he's in on any changes that occur. And he has comment capability. So for credentials, we have a new agency position approvals that we're going to bring up under new business for those agencies that we mentioned previously. Policy. We sent out, sorry, just before the meeting, some policies. Doctors Vermonte and Dishner, and Dr. Newbert. Where are those? Lots of policy work.
So we'll do the easier one first, the trauma transport policy changes. Essentially the main change to that one, the CDC graphic that was on there, who goes to replacing the graphics from the New York State government for the red and yellow, for track destinations, and modifying the language that also matches the state government for that essentially the more maximum that's to minimize transport time for patient care. So fairly minimal changes in that way. The New York State collaborative programs. The second policy, well, very speaking to our site committee, Dr. Newberg, our side policy, which is very extensive, it really covers most of the issues. And then there was three other attachments with it, which replace the appendices that are with the Suffolk County policy. But they're essentially the RSI agency application, the practical examination checklist, and the individual provider applications. I know the RSI committee put extensive amount of work into this. We looked at it, had a few modifications back and forth. I think we covered the key issues related to thank you, RSI committee, and the policy committee participated in our discussion about the
Yes, so we'll bring that up under new business for vote. They are policies. Any questions for policy?
Just to bring up where that confusion may have been on the bridge.
Yeah.
When you look at the policy statement, it was circulated, that that's the University of Edmonton crossed that out, the bridge only in, maybe that's where.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah, you could.
yeah, that was crossed out. So I think that's where, yeah. I think that's
And
probably,
the rest of the changes were not sent out, so
so
we did not see any of the other changes that were that.
Okay.
that's true.
thank you for pointing that out. That's why we have this meeting to discuss this. Want to address that?
Yeah, I would send everybody we voted on, so we open it and vote on it again and agree with that meeting.
Okay.
They just didn't know they could serve.
All right, so there's some wording changes that need to be made, and so rather than bring that up as a vote, we'll send it back to the committee for correction. Okay, easy enough. Well, we. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you guys want to, all right, so under new business, when we get to this, we'll send it back or vote to wordsmith. Okay, just moving on, RTAC, and anybody representing Ann or RTAC? Communication. So, just going a little bit more, I spoke with Mike Pisano from eBridge. He said that basically they've heard from every health system now, which is fantastic. And it's really moving along quite nicely. So, we're building the pre-hospital side. And hopefully that's gonna go out soon. And we'll be up and producing it hopefully sooner than we think. So, I'm glad that this was brought up and pointed that out. So very good. EMS modernization day.
So on hold, today.
Yeah, okay. And Remsco, Chairman Mackey.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bowman. The emergency medical service for children state survey ended last week. We had quite a few agencies and stuff that did send it back. I think we about 20 agencies towards the end, last couple of days that had submitted the survey to any Eisenhower with that. We'll look into it and make sure that we're being compliant with their requirements and stuff as far as PDF and here. As far as the QA, QI, if you need any assistance, I've had inquiries and stuff from members of Remsco. They're very interested now that we are on PCRs, once they expand the system. once again, to do the QA wide traffic testing. The awards nominations have closed as of April 1st. I believe we had about 20, maybe a little bit more than 20. They will be sent to the Public Education Committee, the Awards Committee, for selection in the next week or two. And we're looking to have the EMS Awards ceremony, hopefully the week of May 15th to 19th. We haven't settled on a date as of yet. And a venue to host that. Once again, it is a work in progress. If you want to have that done. Along with that, with EMS week coming up in May, any hospitals that have CME programs or any information they need to get out, dinners or all, please send them to brimstone@nassauems.org so that we can get the place not only in the EMS coordinators report, but also on the website for all the providers to be able to see. The program agency, we're working with New York State to move a slow go with the grant financing as they've changed. Don has put an awful lot of work and time and effort into helping me, assisting me on a daily basis, trying to get the necessary paperwork. Every time we get through the one hoop, we seem to find one or two other issues that they're looking at. So with the program agency being out for the past almost 2.5 years, there were things that weren't done previously and things that we were unable without the daily administration. So it is a work in progress. The FDA, along with the Fire Marshal's office, has been trying to update some files to keep us compliant, and hopefully that will be moving forward very shortly. All seats on the Remsdale are currently filled. There are a few alternate spots still out there looking for energetic EMS providers and medical professionals that are interested in EMS to put their nominations forward. We do have one, the Emergency Nurses Association contacted me. There's been a change in their constituency in Nassau County. Lila Sheehan Hagerman contacted me that Nassau has now consolidated with another region, and was concerned that maybe she would not be able to fill her seat on the council. Her seat is currently scheduled to expire December 31st, and I recontacted her. She's been on for a very long time, and I said she's more than welcome to remain on there until the end of her expiration. Please get us a letter from your organization on what their intentions are going forward. They do not intend to be part of the Nassau system, and we can change the constituency to reflect somebody here within Nassau County. Those were the things. The Disaster Preparedness Committee has been meeting bi-weekly. We've had an excellent turnout for the past, I would say, 2.5, 3 months. Kevin O'Hara has been leading us along with the Commission, Nassau County Police Department, EAB, the Fire Marshal's Office, Office of Emergency Management, Department of Health, and other agencies been there. We're making steady progress on updating the medical portion of the disaster preparedness plan. There's another meeting scheduled for week after next, and there'll be more to come at the May Remsdale meeting with that. As far as the Tyler CAT, I don't have much more information than you have. I did not see that. I know that we've not had a meeting of the county committee in some 8 months. I'm waiting to find out when the next meeting is, how it's being planned to be implemented. I know that they all want to institute an incident county system to better enhance our communications. But at this stage, I don't know where it stands with that. So more to come next month at the Remsdale meeting. And that's pretty much all I have with that. Any questions?
questions for the chairman?
Okay, thank you very much.
So moving on, the coordinators report, Don's at the funeral. We just ask everybody to refer to this week's coordinators report. The fire marshal, anybody here from the fire marshal's office? Okay. So unfinished business, old business, we have the E-Bridge, we gave that sort of update, the LSI gel, we already gave that update. Is there any other old business that we need to address? Okay, thank you. Under new business, we'll just start with the committee. Where Dr. Newberg, VLSI gel, did you want to bring up those agencies for approval?
Yeah, so I'm making a motion to approve West Hempstead Fire Department and Valley Stream Fire Department to join the high-gel pilot. And Merrick Fire Department provisionally, as long as I get a complete application from
The motion to approve like the Valley Street. Along with which agency?
Merrick Fire Department, as long as I get a complete application.
Okay, yeah, did you have a question? Or you know, second. I'll second it. No. Well, so we'll do by exception. Anybody against? Anybody abstain? And so credentials committee. A bunch of different packets. The first one is going to be, we need the approval of Dr. Nevin Paraki for ambulance. Basically, the medical director, Dr. Robert Van Morgan, passed away suddenly, and they needed to continue care and operations. So Nevin has stepped up. He's a board certified emergency medicine doctor, board certified EMS, did a EMS fellowship in disaster medicine and EMS in New Jersey. He's well published. All the documentation seems to be complete. Coming as a seconded motion, I'd like to approve Dr. Nevin for ambulance medical direction. Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Okay, the next one is Dr. David Tran. For Glenwood Hook and Ladder Engine and Hose Company. Dr. Coletta has retired, so this is another one as well of his agencies. Dr. Tran is the new assistant chairman of emergency medicine at Glen Cove Hospital. He's board certified in emergency medicine. I just need a seconded motion. Okay, Dr. Kirsch. And anybody against? Anybody abstain? And just as a pro forma matter, we have to approve Dr. Zito for coming into Hicksville Fire Department, replacing Dr. Brandler. Dr. Zito is already a regionally approved medical control position and Aegis medical director, Dr. Hassett. Anybody have any apprehensions? Okay, Dr. Caitlin Keenan is taking over NYU EMS. Dr. Keenan is a board certified in pediatrics and pediatric emergency medicine. Very nice diploma. Came to the meeting today. Comes as a seconded motion. I just need someone to. Okay, and then anybody against? Okay. Thank you for stepping up and doing this for your agency. Welcome to the headaches. And for Glen Cove EMS, Dr. David Silver is also replacing Dr. Coletta. His application got buried, but Dr. Silver is also a board certified emergency medicine physician. And I don't think there's any issues with his application. I just need a second. Anybody disagree or oppose? Any abstentions? Okay. And then that was quick. Moving on to, we did the LSI deal. Moving on to policy. Basically, we have two things. We could do the busy one first. Want to present the transport decision policy?
So that's for transportation policy is concerned with wording first, one taken out. Then that's a problem notification must have been necessary and control. We can improve the secret platform. That language is put there in line with the electrification policy. That really deep bridge and notification certified is not control and medical controls the notification and the communication policy. So that's why I read that they were redundant, but we want to cut that back.
Can I, on the question?
Please.
Is that implying that the provider will make the determination on his own?
EMS provider.
No, eBridge automatically behind the scenes. Anytime there's a transmission sent, it goes automatically to.
I understand, but this would lead you to believe that you're not going to tell medical control, you're going to call the trauma center by eBridge directly, and you made that decision, and it's a.
So, all trauma team requests, will be sent, via the eBridge program, to medical control and, the team trauma center.
As will be inclusive of medical control, or medical control will always have situational awareness, some statement like that, because if you're not obligated that.
Well, and I-
You just take the line out of Nassau American Control, right, by it, even if
That's
Which is what we had done.
Which is, yeah, they took that out, that crossing means it's not there anymore.
right. So
Yeah, I know.
through eBridge pre-notification program.
So, so we sent through Nassau County American Control by eBridge notification program.
But that implies that medical control is going to do the eBridge. It should be eBridge to medical control.
Okay, so I understand the semantics of what you're trying to say there, but the way this reads is that medical control is cut out of the picture.
No, they're definitely not.
In
Because
EMS
that's the way
communication
the way
policy that
eBridge is
was
programmed.
in This body
Okay.
approved in August. It specifically says that notifications will also be made.
Now, and when you say must on things, you really handcuff people per se. To say that a guy who may be sitting in the rain on the side of a wreck as they're cutting people out to call and find out which patient comes out first is going where, might not be able to type that into an eBridge. So should be, or by all means, when possible, but to say
But
must.
it's our regional policy, all transports can require notification. So,
No, I understand that, but to say that if he can't use his eBridge at the moment,
For the same reason where it says radio systems, so having radio systems should be retained in there with the comma after.
you know,
Include inclusive.
not to be the
radio.
preferred method, but
well, we're trying to eliminate it. We're trying to eliminate it.
I understand, but we're dealing from a
Radio as a backup.
legal world here where we start using words like must and shall. You really handcuff people's hands to
So
things.
it's must have been in that policy. That was not added, that was part of the fire.
I understand, but must was added with eBridge. So that's to say, if I can't,
Put there, fire.
My oldest chairman, non-voting members of that. Chairman Remsdale, still members, we're not going to be rolling this out even on a pilot program for the next several months. There's lots of ways to go. I would suggest it goes back to the committee and wording once again, make sure that we're all of the policies. And as we said all along, medical control is still required to be notified. And then we make sure the process is authorized to the policy. As you said, liability purposes and other.
And-
Bring it back up.
Mr. Chairman, is that okay? If we send it back? He's not taking. He's. I'm asking the security, I'm gonna ask the security chairman of the. I'm taking it back to committee. To send it back. Before it was officially seconded.
And then have it, work back, in the June. Correct language and stuff.
I just need to understand what this body wants.
So then maybe hold another meeting and incorporate the.
Hearing all this, sounds like we need some legal influence or language that's acceptable. Usually acceptable is appropriate, compliant and regulatory.
So
Okay.
perhaps we can use a committee, bring it to a legal body, with their guidance. I agree with this is language, never wrong. Maybe handcuffing. I think it's purposeful, in the sense that we want things to be done in a certain way. And I think some of its legacy language that we were just incorporating, that we needed to adjust. So, I think that language is all there, but I know on certain terms, the policy does speak, it's just not here, it just speaks for itself. That there is no reason, there's no alienation of. Right.
Okay, so this is sent back to your committee and make sure that we invite the stakeholders.
Now, can I assess the intention also was that e-bridge would go out, including medical control, but it would also go to that hospital right then. And just as an unintended consequence of that, which showed its head this weekend with the EAS fire in Freeport, a hospital was polled, hey, listen, we have a major fire, we could have hospital aided, what could you handle? Absence of any further information after that, they notified and stood up and were ready to accept all these patients that they never got because they were kind of notified a little too prematurely that there were even any patients. I mean, there were several, but nothing.
So again, that could be discussed.
Right.
Back to the committee.
So things like that we should
Because that's an
discuss.
operational issue. I think it's just to clarify a little bit, the tool is to be used when the ambulances, when the EMS provider is going to transport. If you're not transporting, you're not going to use the tool. The only time that the hospital is going to be pulled is for medical control. And so maybe there needs to be credit to that policy or that communication process. But again, that could be addressed at that REMAC, at the policy committee. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for taking this back. And rather than tabling it, the chairman has rescinded his motion. And on this policy, we're moving on to the next policy, the RSI policy with its attachments, which is incredible. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look. I want to thank Dr. Newberg, Dr. Dishner, Dr. Vermonti for their incredible work. It's a novel. And it's gonna, I mean, to think that we're gonna be doing RSI in June, and it was just a fantasy, I mean, it's freaking incredible. So thank you. So with that, do you want to present your motion?
So motion is to approve the RSI policies for brand new policies or not changes. I think it's thoroughly vetted by the two committees and we'll have a chance to look at it.
Sorry, I have a question. Somebody asked me, in the policy, we had chief of the organization that like administrator might be a better word in some organizations, they're not chief, a very minor thing. An issue that you
Which slash administrator.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's easy. But that's reasonable. That would unpack it.
Okay, barring any other discussion, I have a motion to second the policy. Okay, so we're gonna do just a quick roll call vote on this. Those that are present. Policies for RSI. Dr. Barrios. Yes, okay, Dr. Budin. Yes. Dr. Vermonti. Yes. Dr. Shearson. Dr. Dishner, excused. Dr. Gujral, excused. Dr. Harris, excused. Dr. Hassett, aye. Aye. Dr. Kirshen, approved. Me, yes. Josh? Yes. Dr. Newberg?
Yes.
Dr. Ing is excused. Dr. Pardo is excused. Dr. Politi? Same. Okay. Thank you. Dr. Rowe is excused. Dr. Ryan's excused. Dr. Singh? Yes. Dr. Ting? No. Dr. Zazo? Yes. Okay, motion passes 5-1. All right, so congratulations to the policy committee for this expansive and new policy for our region. Can't wait to see it online. All right. So that was all I had for new business. Is there any other new business for the committee?
I could just reiterate, thank you, everybody who worked on that. That was a lot of work. And removing the the county code.
Okay, so, anything for the good of the, order? There's always one motion that's always in order.
So just the Remco meeting will be, here in May.
Okay, thanks.
May 3rd. World Center.
Okay. And the next REMAC meeting will be Wednesday, June 7th, so, and Dr. Hassett, has a motion to adjourn. Dr. Zadam, second, okay. Thank you, everybody, happy holidays.